You may or may not see people start using things like bands when we're talking about doing our presses or just in the gym in general. Why do we do them? What are they effective for? And how do we set them up is what we're going to try and go through here. So our main issue, and we're going to look at a press on this one, okay? And this, we're using a steep press, but this can be true of any pressing movement. One of the truisms of a pressing movement is we are strongest at the end range here, and we get gradually weaker as we come down, whether that's on a flat press or an incline. We are weakest here and strongest there. But we've got a problem because the exercise that we're doing is the opposite. It's hardest here where we are weakest, and it is lightest, easiest here where we are strongest. So it actually only provides a challenge at the very bottom. If we get past that bit, we can do the rest of the rep. If we're trying to grow a muscle or challenge a muscle as much as we can, we want to challenge it through its whole range. So we're going to need to do something to this exercise to manipulate it so that it becomes challenging through the full range of movement. And that's where the use of bands and the like come in. If we put enough band tension on this, as the band stretches and comes down, it takes some of the load off of the bar and matches. As I get weaker, the load gets lighter. And then as I press and get stronger, the load gets heavier. So we create what we call a full range challenge through this. So this is how we set a daisy chain, a band, and the setup for a steep incline Smith press, although it's the same for any Smith press that we're going to set up. Okay, so if I get Chris to come in, let's show you how this thing sets up. So we're going to need a few bits and pieces. We're going to need what we call a daisy chain, which is just a rock climbing grip, and a carabiner. So the first thing we're going to do is set this up over the top of the Smith machine. And we're going to bring that down. Now, exactly where I'm going to put this carabiner is going to depend on how much band tension I want on this. So it involves a little bit of playing around. But for me, and for most of my clients, when we're talking about a steep press, I'm actually going to put this just into the first notch up there. I can then put this kind of out of the way somewhat. Right? And what I'm then going to do is attach the band round here and round here. So I'm going to use a medium tension kind of purple band on this one. I'm going to put this around both sides of the bar, and then I'm going to hook it in to the carabiner. And then we've got this thing set up. If I then take this off, you'll see that the bar sits within that. And that as this comes down, the band tension stretches, and then it comes off as we press upwards. That's what we're looking for. Depending on how far I want this to come down, if I've got a flat bench, I might set this a little lower down the daisy chain so that I can find the same level of when does it start taking the weight off of the bar and when does it start coming off of it and giving it me back. So you can play around depending on the tension of the band, the length of you, and the position of the bench relative to the bar. Okay, and then once we've set that up, put a little bit of weight on, this is what it should look like. So this is a steep incline press. So I've got the bar, you can see there's no tension on the band. It comes down, it starts taking some of the load off and matching the strength profile of my pushing movement. So it gets easier as it comes down, as I get weaker, and then it gets harder as I drive up. And when we do this correctly, you will find that it gives you one serious chest challenge. Do a set and you'll know exactly what I mean.